Okay, this is now tarot lesson number 51, and I'd like to continue with a couple of questions you could ask in order for you to practice on your own, so that when you're actually doing a reading for somebody, you're sort of beginning halfway through, so to speak, rather than never having thought about the question or never having seen the card before. But before we do that, I wanted to mention when I used to teach a communication class in a college, and quite early on, I would get the students, I would say, if you've got 2 minutes, write down every emotion you can think of. I think I mentioned this in a previous video ages ago. Anyway, so I would give them 2 minutes, and they would write. I would say, okay, write down all the emotions you can think of, good, bad, whatever it happens to be. And I'd give them 2 minutes. Then I would get them to yell out the words that they wrote down, and I'd write them on the blackboard. And normally I would get about 30 words written on the board, and honestly, 27, 28 of them would be negative. Right, so it was much easier for people to come up with words like depressed, anxious, fearful, sad, unhappy, miserable, and so on. Much easier to come up with those types of words than it was to come up with words like excited, positive, optimistic, hopeful, energetic, exciting, that kind of thing. So if you give yourself a couple of minutes now or after you watch this video and write down about 2 minutes, not like an hour, and write down as many words, as many emotions as you can think of, and then count up the good and the bad. And the thing is, if most people, it's easier to see what's wrong. And so this ties in with the idea of the last week's question was, why did the relationship fail? And so the card, the first one that I got was the Page of Batons. And I want to begin with this because the Page of Batons, and it struck me afterward, I might have said, why did the relationship fail? Because the relationship was like a desert, because the person's standing in a desert. So yes, the relationship, it was sunny and warm, but nothing could grow, it was very difficult for anything to grow there, because things don't grow in the desert. And so you can relate the picture and what's going on in the picture to why the relationship failed. But the reason I mentioned the example in the communication class was it's easy to think that if the question is why did the relationship fail, it's easy to think that you want a card like the Emperor reversed, or the Tower, or the Five of Pentacles. You want some kind of bad card, or a card that shows awkwardness or difficulty in order to understand why the relationship failed. Because we tend to associate failure with bad things happening. But relationships don't always fail because the people hate each other. A relationship can fail because it became boring, or it became uninteresting, or it was warm and it was pleasant and it was sunny, but it wasn't that interesting. Because if you wanted things to grow, so you had an idea about doing something different, or doing something in a different way, and the partner thought, yeah, maybe later. You know what I mean? They're that kind of non-committal or uncooperative for what you thought was a good idea, or it could be the other way around. The other person kept coming up with new things to do or different things to do, but you wanted to do what you were used to. So I want to make the point that when you get a question like, why did the relationship fail? Relationships don't always fail, or things don't always go wrong because of bad cards, so-called bad cards, like the Ten of Swords reversed, or what's another bad card, so to speak? Can't think of one at the moment. But the Tower reversed, okay? Why did it go wrong? Well, it went wrong because the Tower reversed. It can go wrong just as easily because of the World reversed, of the world. It was too easy, it was too good, and people didn't trust it. So if we're going to practice on our own, and it's a good idea, because it gets you, there's no pressure to actually give an answer, but it also gets you thinking about cards from a different point of view, or looking at a card to derive different types of information, because the question could be about money, it could be about a relationship, it could be about health, it could be about a marriage partner, or it could be about a trip you're going to make overseas. And the same card, the Knight of Pentacles, could answer all these 5 different questions. So it's not so much, I think, the card itself, the suit, because it's coins, therefore money, you might think. So the trip's going to cost more than you expect, maybe. Or but the thing is, if it's about a relationship, what do you do with money in a relationship? Yes, you can have disagreements about how you spend the money and so on, but that can be a kind of weak answer, because it only talks about part of the relationship or part of the situation that's going on between the people. So if you take a question like, why did the relationship fail? And you do a little bit of a shuffle and you pick a card and see what you get. The Devil, why did it fail? Because, okay, again, rather than start with your opinion, because you might think you might be of the opinion that the Devil is a terrible card. But somebody else might look at the Devil as being a good card, because if you look at the man and the woman, they can't move around that much, and it looks like somebody's telling them what to do. And you may hate that, but somebody else may feel really comfortable in that kind of situation, because not everybody wants to have to make decisions. So here with why did the relationship fail? It was too, I don't know, lusty, and maybe either the man or maybe this Devil here, you've got the couple, but then you've got the Devil in control. So maybe this is the mother-in-law or the father-in-law or other family members belonging to the husband or the wife or the man or the woman, right? Because you've got these two, they're connected, but somebody else is in charge. And so maybe it's an actual person. So it could be a mother-in-law, father-in-law, a sister, a sister-in-law, or it could be an addiction. It could be gambling or alcohol or something like that, because it's, it controls you. And so it can be that, lots of relationships suffer because of gambling and alcohol, or maybe somebody was addicted to painkillers or something like that. Nowadays, that could be quite common. So why did the relationship fail? Because of the Devil. And so you can then pick the next question, which is going to be cleverly, right? I turned the page over, right? How do I improve? So that could be the answer to the next question. How do I improve? Or else we could stay with why did the relationship fail and pick another card. And here we got the King of Cups reversed. So you think about, in what way does the King of Cups upside down explain or describe why the relationship failed? And it looks like, it depends if it's maybe the man in the relationship was too wishy-washy or too indecisive or wouldn't accept responsibility. Or maybe the king represents the woman trying to play a role that she wasn't comfortable with. Right? So you can take the same, and then you can pick a third card. Okay, why did the relationship fail? We get the Hermit reversed. And so you would figure out what to say about the Hermit reverse as an explanation of why, or a description of how the relationship failed. Or you can take the same card, the Devil, and answer the next question, which is, how do I improve? So there's a question for you. If somebody wants to know, okay, well, how do I improve? How do I make my life better? And the answer is the Devil. It seems at first sight that it's not an answer to the question. And people sometimes do that. They turn a card, they're not quite sure what to do with the card that comes up, or what kind of meaning to give it. And so they think, well, maybe this is answering a different question. Do you have something else you'd like to know about? And I personally don't like to do that, because I figure we get the cards that we're supposed to talk about for the question. So how do I improve the devil? How do you improve? You limit the steps that you take, because the man and the woman have got a short chain around their neck and they can't really move that far. And because the devil is upright, I'm taking a positive approach, and I'm saying take small steps. So you improve one step at a time, not by taking a massive leap. Right? Because often we think we're in a situation and we think, if I could only move to another country, everything would be better. Or if I could get rid of this relationship and all these people, then everything would be better. If I could get a new job, everything would be better. And that's like a big leap. But the problem with that is you take the problem with you into the new situation. So with the devil, figure out what small step you can take immediately or tomorrow, and take that one small step, rather than look for a big, overnight, massive change. Whereas if the devil had been reversed, how do I improve? You become aware of what's holding you back, or who's controlling you, or what habits or thinking is controlling you and producing the results that you don't like, and do something about that. So here, with the devil upright, you can do what you want to do, take small steps. Here, with the devil reverse, you've got something to figure out first before you can know what to do next, or before you can know what to do to bring about an improvement. So maybe we put that away and we pick another card, and what do we get? How do I improve? The Five of Swords. Another difficult one, it seems. How do I improve? But we have to remember, this is saying, and because the card is upright, this is what you do to improve. And maybe we'll look at the person in the foreground. What you do to improve is I don't want to say you fight, but you do what has to be done rather than give up before you've tried. Because we've got the person, I'm looking at the person in the foreground as being the hero, so to speak. And this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to be like this person, not like this one who's been defeated, and not like this one who's going off to comfort the person who's been defeated. Because this card is upright, and this is the person in the front of the picture, I think I would say, how do you improve? By being like this person. So if you're afraid to do something, try it. And see how it works. And if somebody confronts you and wants to control you or wants you to obey, stand up for yourself, or in some ways to take a stand. Maybe you take a stand for 5 minutes and then you give in, but that's okay. At least you did 5 minutes, and now you've got some practice on how to stand up for yourself. Because this five of Swords, even though we look at it and we can think, well, this is not a good card because somebody's been defeated and so on, and this person looks not very pleasant. That can be what you have to do. Because sometimes I remember there have been times when there was a phone call I had to make, and I couldn't bring myself to make the phone call. Or there was somebody I didn't want to talk to, and I had to make myself talk to them. And it always ends up that you think, okay, why did I even bother being reluctant to do that? There's a phone call you don't want to make. You make it, and then you wonder why it took you so long, because in your imagination you'd built it up into being something terrible, but it wasn't, and it never is. And why did it? So you've got somebody to confront, maybe, with the Five of Swords. So you confront him, or you say, there's something I don't like about what's happening between us. Can we discuss it, or can we talk about it? Or this is what I don't like, and what do you think? And you'll probably find, or most of the time you're going to find, that the other person agrees with you, but they were maybe stuck in their own little roundabout of going round and round, and not wanting to bring the subject up in case you took it the wrong way. Because a lot of things happen where, and it's just our imagination that creates a problem that really doesn't exist. Well, it does because we create it, but it doesn't have to exist and doesn't have to have control over us. Okay, I don't know how long this has been going on for, but I better stop. So that, I think, is a couple of things about questions that you might want to ask. So, Queen of Cups just fell out. I don't know who this is. So what do I do with the Queen of Cups falling out? At this point, I have no idea. So I'm just going to pretend it never happened and put it away. Maybe the significance will strike me. Oh, Temperance reversed. So you could, or we could at this point, take these cards that have come out and see if we can puzzle out what they're about. My objection, my reluctance is that I don't know what the question was. And so I can imagine the Queen of Cups, some woman somewhere, has it in for me and is going to try and cause me problems. But I don't believe that, actually. But when you don't have a question, you're sort of at the mercy of your imagination or your doubts or your fears, or then because the card is upright, it was upside down, we would tend to be a victim of our own negative thinking. Whereas if the Queen of Cups had been upright, then okay, some woman is going to do something nice for me because it's the Queen of Cups. Whereas with Temperance falling out, I don't know what the question was. And I wasn't thinking of anything at that moment. Because sometimes you can do that. You're wondering, okay, how is the meeting going to go? And a card flips out. How is it going to go? The Six of Swords. It's, in a way, the card that pops out is answering the question in your mind at the moment that the card popped out. I think that's different. But if you're just shuffling and thinking of nothing, and a card flips out, then what do you do with it? The Knight of Wands reverse, I have no idea. I think you just put it back and don't bother with it because we don't know what the question was. Oh, the other one falling out. Okay, I'm going to stop now and I'll put this away. So today is Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be back on Sunday. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.